What's going on, Sumolings? It's Lindsay from AppSumo. Thank you for joining us for another walkthrough. We're going to get going in just a minute, but we have quite a few RSVPs for today's webinar. We're very excited about this product. So I want to give everyone a second to trickle in. Today we have Yasmin and Kevin from Wishpond. Yasmin is the Customer Success Manager and Kevin is the VP of Marketing. Wishpond is an all-in-one lead generation and automation platform to build your audience and grow your business. It's an awesome tool that's going to get you so many leads. We're very excited to dive into it today. Wishpond is available right now on AppSumo, starting at just $49. Before I turn this over to Yasmin to give y'all a walkthrough, I just want to tell you two quick things. First, if you have any questions about the tool, how to get set up, how the deal is structured, you can drop those questions in the Q&A box down below the video, and we'll circle back to those questions after the walkthrough, I promise. We'll also, the second thing is we'll be recording this webinar, so if you need to step out, you can. Don't feel like you need to take any notes. You can rewatch this as many times as you want. All right. Let's get started. Yasmin, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Excited to bring this to the AppSumo community.
Yay! We are excited to dive into this. There's been a lot of excitement for this webinar. It has been long anticipated. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my mic and my video and give this to you guys.
Awesome.
Good.
Have fun.
So I'm just going to share my screen with everybody so everybody can see the platform. So as you can see, this is the Wishpond platform. So when you come in, this is what you're going to be seeing. I went ahead and did 2 test pages for today. So I just wanted to show you an original page that you would first get, like if you chose a template. So this is just like a template page that you would see, put your logo in. It's one of the templates that you could choose from. And this is the page that I quickly edited that I'll show you in a little bit how you can go about editing a template. So from any template, you can actually edit your page to look however you want it to look. So let's go in and check out how you would do that. So this would be your main dashboard. In this dashboard, you're going to find all of the campaigns you create, whether it's, a landing page, a contest, a pop-up, or an email automation. They're all going to be stored in this dashboard. Your dashboard can also be organized into folders. You would just create a folder here, and then you would drag and drop your content into whichever folder you would want. So let's go ahead and click on the View More button right here. And this is where you can choose any kind of campaign you would want to create. You can choose from general lead capturing campaigns. This is where you would find your email automation campaigns, general contest promotions. We've divided it up for you so it's easy to choose any of these templates. We're going to go with the mostly used campaign, which is the landing page. This is going to be our new editor. It's not out yet, the Canvas editor, but it will be coming out soon, and that you'll be able to use things like drag and drop and just a much easier and more a better way of creating your landing page, or an easier way. So let's go into the current editor. Over here, you'll see a whole array of templates that you could choose from depending on what your goal is. At the very bottom, you'll also have an option for a blank template if you wanted to have a blank template and do it yourself. But let's choose the template that I showed you at the beginning, which is this one. So you would choose the template that you would want. You would name your campaign. And now this is where the magic happens. Essentially, you're going to create your landing page based on your brand. So whatever you're trying to, your goal is, so if it's a lead generation campaign, you obviously want to get, the information from the users who are landing on this page, but you want it to look like your business first. So what I started with, or what you can start with, is obviously changing the background color. On this side, you'll see two circles. One is for content and one is for the campaign design. So anything to do with the background or sections of the background, changing your favicon, adding custom CSS or JavaScript, this is where you'll find it. So let's go in and just change the background for now. And then also change, you'll see that this part changes the background for the whole entire, page. And then you can change the background per section. So you'll see it says background and section background, and it's divided into the sections that you have. So we can change from section. You can change it to a color if you wanted to. And you can have different kind of options depending on what brand you have. You can also do that for your form. You would put in, a different color over here. So when you click on the form, the tool editor will come up, and you can change the background color. You can add an image to that. You could give it a border color. You could edit the form and add fields. So you'll see here when you click on adding a field, you can choose this plus sign. You can add any type of field that you would want. You can also, when you're editing it, you obviously can edit the buttons and the text within the buttons. And you could also edit the click action. So the click action is obviously when your lead arrives to the page and they want to, what do you want them to do? You want them to enter their information, submit the form, and then have another action. So for example, you can say, I want them to submit the form, and then I want it to link to the landing page. Or you could say that you want it to submit the form and either download a file or click to call. You could send them an email. You could run JavaScript. You can do any of these things. You can even link to a page. Maybe you want to link to your website. So you could link it to your website. Again, you can edit any part of this section. Now, in terms of the add content box, this is where you would want to add things like maybe if you wanted to add another section, or if you wanted to add a column, if you wanted to add a box. So anything that you would want to add to your landing page to make it according to your brand. You can also delete things. You can add specific HTML. So for example, if you had a Shopify site or an e-commerce site and you wanted to integrate your e-commerce button so that you would say, buy now, and they can purchase from the site, what you would do is on your Shopify site, you would create whatever, whatever product you want to sell. You would add the HTML or the code from there, you would copy it, and you would paste it within this HTML right here. And once you do that and you publish your page, it'll say, shop now or purchase now or add to cart, and it'll link that to your Shopify site. So again, this is really easy to do. You can, in your settings over here as well, change your SEO settings, give it, a title. You could have a little description of what you want. And then you would also go in and change your share settings, add an image so that when people see this, when they're searching it or when you're advertising it, you have an image to go with it. Now, when you want to publish, always remember to have your campaign will come up with like a specific URL, but you would always want to change that URL. So you can always edit it and, have your company name here, and then a little path. So maybe giveaway 2020 or something like that, just so that you know what your campaign is called and you have a unique URL that way. When you've created your landing page and you're ready to publish and you've published, you always see the status is live. And this is the activity report that you'll see once it's live. So you'll see, you know, how many views you're getting, what your conversion rate is, how many leads you've gotten. And if you're testing this and you're ready to go live, you can always go in and reset your campaign stats so that when you do go live, it's more accurate on how well you've done. Once you go live, or even when you're in draft, you'll come in here and you'll see that these are the pages that you've created. So you see that this is the one I just created right now, the original template, if you wanted to just use the template, or if you wanted to use an edited version of the template, which I did prior to this webinar so that I could give you an example of what it would look like. So this is, you know, the URL that I did, your campaign here, trip giveaway. Let's do an example here of what it would happen if I put this in. I press enter, and it takes me to the website that I redirected to myself. So you'll see here the conversions that you got. I got one conversion, one lead, because I just entered and I viewed the page. And this is the URL that I came to. Now, where do your leads go when that happens? You'll see here a tab saying leads. We'll go into that tab. And you'll see that the leads that you get are going to be here. This is the one that I just did right now, test@test.com. If you click on that, you'll see all the actions that I did when I came to the page. So this is essentially what your lead, all the actions or all the activity that your lead does on the page. So you'll see it'll say, you know, I visited this page, I viewed the campaign, I converted on the landing page, I was added to the list. So in this tab right here under leads, you'll have all the leads that you have, no matter what campaign. Now, if you want to see the leads divided by campaign, you would go into what is called lists. Here you'll see that each campaign that I've created has been already divided automatically for me into lists. So I can see which leads came from which campaign. You'll see here that I was in the Test Webinar 2020 edited campaign, and I arrived to that list. Another option that we can do under the Leads tab is create your own lists. So if you go to Create Lists, you can add your leads manually. Save the list. And you can import leads right here. So you would just import them through your CSV file, or you can integrate with any of these apps. You can also export lists. So if you want to have your list on a hard copy or on your side, you would go into your list and you would just put export leads, export it into a CSV file. Under the More option, you can also go into your import history, your export history, or one really good way of looking at stats, you would go into your stats bar and you would see all the statistics that your leads have. So you would have how many clicked on emails, how many opened, how many converted on a campaign, how many viewed. You'd have your lead visitor activity timeline. So this is a really good way to see kind of what your leads are doing and what kind of statistics you have or what kind of reports you want to look at. And you can even check the timeline to see if there's a certain timeline that you want to look at if you've launched a campaign, maybe you want to know that specific timeline. Next, we're gonna go into the email side of things. So I'm gonna go back into our dashboard. Just bear with me a little bit. So another great way of, keeping your leads attracted to your brand is obviously by nurturing them. And one really good way of nurturing your leads is by sending them emails. So we'll go in and we'll see how we can create the emails, and then also how we could create email automations. So again, back into your dashboard, you're going to go into where it says more, and right here where it says manage emails. So this is an email that I created yesterday for you guys, just so that you can kind of have an idea of what an email would look like. But let's create a new email so that, oh, sorry about that. So we'll go back into our manage emails. We'll create a new email right here. So you'll see here, you can edit the subject line and the from name of the email specifically. So for example, you could say the email name, and this is just, you can say email number 1, campaign X, or whatever your campaign's name is. The subject line is what your leads are going to see when they receive the email. So something like, thanks for entering. Your from name. So again, this is something that your leads are going to see. So you would put your company name, and then you can put your email, your from email, and your reply to email. Click next. Oops. And similar to the campaign, to the landing page that we created, you're going to be able to choose a template or a blank page. So choosing a template is really easy because it's going to allow you to have it already made for you, and you just edit the way you would want to edit. So for example, let's use, this template. Sorry, it's taking a little while, guys. We have a lot of people in this webinar.
I guess as we wait, getting a couple questions, people are asking a couple things. We have a question: how do we pre-fill the form with UTM parameters? By default, what will happen is that if you have a UTM parameter, it'll actually just automatically pass that with the lead property. So you'll see that you can basically pass like the campaign or the source, and then actually show up in the leads profile. And just give you guys a heads up, we're going to be going over all the questions, so don't worry, we're seeing everything. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A, and then we're going to have some time at the end. We'll go through all of them. So don't worry, place them in there. and we'll go through all of them at the end.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, no worries.
So now we're in the email that we want to create. So again, similar to the landing page, right here on the right-hand side, this is where you have all of your content row and setting menus. So you can use this to edit your email. For example, if I want to change this picture, I would just click on the picture. I'm going to press change picture or change image. And right here is where you can upload all your images and choose whatever image that you would want to choose. So let's say I wanted this one, and it would change. You can change, you know, the background color of the row or of the whole content area. You could even add some padding if you wanted to. You can change the text. You can add another section or a row. Or let's say I wanted to add some more photos. I would, you know, just include the row here, drag and drop, and you can just add whichever content you would want. So let's say I wanted to add some more photos. I would just drag and drop it within the row that I just added. You can change the URL of the photo. So if somebody clicked on it, it would take them to, let's say, the page that you would want. So for example, again, if you had like an e-commerce site, for example, you can add the photos of your best-selling items and add the URL to those photos so that when they got clicked on, they can go straight to the URL and purchase them to your page. So let's finish with this. And you can create as many emails as you want within this template so that you can go ahead and create your email automations. Now, to create your email automations, you would go back to your dashboard where we were originally. Again, everything that you're going to be creating or anything that you've created would be found within the dashboard. So to go back to your dashboard, you would just click on this little W right here. This is where all your emails that you create will live. Now we'll go back to the dashboard. We'll click on view more. And right here, this is where you find your general emails campaigns. So we'll go to email automations and we'll create a new one. Within email automations, you have 6 workflows that you can choose from. Our 3 most popular are the standard workflow, the calendar workflow, and the cart abandonment email. You can choose any of these 6 workflows. The standard workflow is just a blank workflow where you would choose a set of conditions, and based on those set of conditions, you would choose a set of actions that would be triggered based on those conditions. The calendar-based workflow is very similar to the standard one. The only difference is that you can actually choose a day and time that you would want those emails to be triggered. So for example, if you're sending out an email blast or a newsletter, this would be a good option because then you can create your email, you can schedule it, and you don't have to worry about it. It'll be triggered on the specific day or time that you've chosen. A welcome email, again, this is so that you can welcome your lead after they've filled out a form on your landing page. The hot segments workflow is so that you can add them to a list, knowing that they are hot leads, that they're very interested in your brand or in your business. So let's say that they've gone in and they've checked their cart twice in a week, you would send them to the hot leads list so that you know to keep nurturing those leads to get them to purchase or to do an action that you would want. Your sales lead follow-up workflow. So this is more for an internal email. So if, let's say, your lead wants a callback from you, so within your form it says, you know, schedule your appointment today. If they take that action, then an internal email will be sent, let's say, to your sales team saying, hey, this lead wants to schedule a call, make sure you follow up. And lastly, the cart abandonment email. So this is really good for e-commerce sites. So if you have somebody on the checkout page or somebody who visited the cart and don't complete the purchase, you can send a cart abandonment email. So let's go in and check the most used workflow, so the standard workflow. You would click on the one that you would want, and this is where you would add your set of conditions. So for example, you want to send a series of emails to somebody who has just converted on the landing page that you created. So my condition would say campaign, have converted on, and you would choose the campaign that you created. And you would say anytime, so ever. So anybody who converted on this campaign, I want them to have a trigger action, an action triggered, sorry. So your actions would be, for example, I want to send them an email. You would choose the email that you just created. So for example, this is the one that we just created, and you're gonna send it automatically. You can also have the option to create an A/B test. So if you want to send 2 different emails to see which one works best, you would just put create A/B test and send and put in the second email. You can add a delay between the emails. So I want to delay it for 3 days. After those 3 days, I want to send a different email. Or maybe I want to, if they didn't do the action within the email, I want to remove them from my list. Maybe remove from. So again, anything that you want, you can put into the condition. So any condition that you put, you can make it an and statement or an or statement. So maybe I want them to have converted on my landing page, and I want them to have viewed my page. So you know that these leads may be hot leads. They, they have seen my landing page, they've visited my website, and due to that, I want to send them an email sending them a coupon maybe. So any kind of conditions that you want to have, you can create those conditions in here, and you can trigger actions based on those conditions. And they can be multiple conditions, and they can be multiple actions based on those conditions. You would launch your workflow, maybe test. Now, once your workflow launches, again, you'll see it in your Wishpond dashboard. Loading here. And you'll see it right here, and you can go in and just see how it's working, if it's started. You'll go into email performance to see how those emails are performing, especially if you did, an A/B test. You can go in and check your link report, and you can check what leads are getting those emails. So when you send out your email automation, always make sure that you're always going into the activity report to make sure how it's doing. You can check your email performance, through here, or you can check it within your emails dashboard that we were in a little while ago. You'll see here all zeros because I just launched it, and obviously we didn't launch it to anybody, but once it's launched, you'll see these numbers go up. So yeah, that's basically an overview, a general overview of the Wishpond platform. We're open to questions if anybody wants a question.
Yeah, thanks so much, Yasmin. That was great. And we have quite a few questions that I'm excited to ask you and Kevin. So I want to go over some general stuff first, and then we'll get a little more specific. The first thing I want to talk about is what's on the roadmap. What do we have to look forward to from y'all?
Yeah, great question. So we have quite a bit. So we're releasing our new editor. It's called Canvas. It's coming out in about 2 weeks. We're just putting the final touches on it. It's going to be actually quite a bit more user-friendly. So you may have found that when you're trying to make a landing page now, you drag things in. It's based off a Bootstrap framework. So, you can move things. It's pretty flexible, but it's still rigid in the sense that you have to put something in a specific column or in a row. You have to define where it is. The new editor is literally what you see is what you get. You drag it in there, it collapses, it's mobile responsive. In our opinion, we've done a lot of user testing against a lot of different landing page platforms, and it's been the one that's got the most positive feedback, so we're really excited about it. That's going to be the editor that's going to be out for pop-ups, for hello bars, for contests, and landing pages. So it's going to really change the whole experience, we feel, for the users of Wishpond. Other things coming down the pipeline, I don't think a lot of people are using the Shopify integration yet. So we have revenue tracking. We can talk about segmenting lists, doing shopping cart abandonment emails. That's really exciting. And then we have a whole host of other initiatives, a mobile app that's going to help you keep in kind of in a loop with how many leads you have. A lot of other stuff is coming down in probably the next year or so, but I'd probably say in the most immediate future, the new Canvas editor that's coming out in 2 weeks is going to be really exciting.
Hey,
That's
Kevin,
awesome. Yeah.
A sneak peek of the new Canvas editor.
Sorry, what's that? Yeah.
I can pull it up right now, and I can
definitely,
sneak peek of what the editor is going to look like. So again, you're going to be able to go in and choose whatever template that you want, like we saw in earlier. But now what you're going to see is just this add new button, and you're going to go in and click whatever you want. And so, for example, I want to add an image. I'm going to be able to add it anywhere within here. I'm going to be able to drag and drop anywhere. If you saw in my last example, it had to be very, like Kevin said, a little bit more rigid. Here it's literally drag and drop. I'm going to put it anywhere I want. I can move things from here. So it's a lot more user friendly and a lot easier to use and easier to go around.
Even like minor things that people might not realize is a thing, but like even being able to select multiple objects, you can select multiple objects on to move them all at once, to align them. You can select multiple objects on a form. It really, I feel, is going to make the workflow a lot easier for people, especially if you're non-technical and you don't really, want to have to be coding things or, figuring out kind of how to move things into specific spots on the page.
That's awesome. I love this. This looks great.
Yeah, you're also going to be able to, on the top here, turn off or turn on your mobile or tablet versions, as well as optimize the layout automatically using Wishpond or manually if you feel like it. So it's a lot more user friendly, and it's really going to help out people who want that easier drag and drop option.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm going to go through a bunch of the questions, but I feel like you kind of just touched on one that in the preview. So I want to talk about the mobile responsiveness of Wishpond. A user said, they asked about the text sizes being global, and they want to know, basically they say it's difficult to make it mobile responsive. So how do you respond to that? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, great question. So it's true that text sizes are global, and that's just the way that the platform is set up. Typically, if you want to resize anything and make it look better for mobile, you can change every other element. You can change icons, you can change image size, text, you can align it differently. I would say just play around with it and see, what you can do. Typically, if you have like an H1 that's like a normal size on the desktop view and you scale it down, it's going to look generally fine. Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably the one area from desktop to mobile that can't be manipulated is the text size.
Thanks for addressing that. Next one, is there a way to filter IP addresses from lead lists? For example, all traffic coming from a company team, would it be logged?
No, unfortunately, that's not possible.
Okay. This person just said hi, Kevin. So hi, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by.
Can we add SVG graphics?
Good question. So you can't drag them directly into the editor. If you want to have an SVG graphic, you can upload it to like a WordPress media server or Amazon AWS server, and then kind of embed it as an HTML element. Or you can just save it out as a big PNG or something. But yeah, no, you can't add it by default to like the image field.
Cool. Can you show examples of Shopify email automations for discounts and sale offers for customers? Yeah.
Yeah, give me one sec here.
Yay.
Okay. You guys can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is an example of a shopping cart abandonment offer that we have from a company that's working with Wishpond. Basically, hey, first name, this is a merge tag. This is going to pull directly from their lead profile. So we have their name. We notice you have something in your cart. And then we have the shopping cart block here, which is basically going to pre-populate with whatever they left in the cart. And then we're going to have a coupon code, which they can use. And this coupon code is going to we can actually automatically direct them to the checkout page from here. Once we send this, we have the option to view, let me see here, the performance of these. So for instance, this cart abandonment email, I can see there's 23 cents. Here's the open rate, click-through rate. And then I can also see a breakdown through the workflow to see, okay, how many people actually purchased, 31 orders, the revenue, average order value, and I can see kind of the performance over time if I want to take a look that way.
Awesome. Love it, love
Cool.
it. All right. Is subdomain name per account or per campaign? Can I use one account for several different businesses' blog names? I feel like this is a question we've gotten a bit of, so I'm excited to. Yeah,
exactly. So it's one subdomain per account, just to clarify. So for instance, if I signed up as Wishpond, it would be wishpond.com/ whatever I want. And I can make, lots of different URLs with that, but I would have one custom subdomain. Now, if you want to create, if you're doing this for clients and you want to create different accounts, I would generally recommend that you do the embed options. So you create one for Kevin's Bikes, and you create a campaign, you just use the HTML code, you embed that in your client's account, right? That would be there. I could make another one called Jim's Bikes, and I could put another one, HTML code, which would load in an iframe in their website. That's typically how we get around with it if you want to have multiple sites. You can have one custom subdomain by default, so kevinsbikes.wishpond.com, and I can also have one custom CNAME, which could be different. So I could have kevinsbikes.wishpond.com, and I could also have jimsbikes.com, which is basically routing jimsbikes.com to a custom CNAME. If that makes sense. But generally, and I think this is something that's been asked a lot, you can use Wishpond for multiple clients, and a lot of people actually do. So you can basically have different lead lists, because by default, every campaign you're going to set up, it's going to have its own lead list. So you can take that lead list, you can send it to MailChimp, you can send emails through Wishpond, you can send it to Aweber, whatever you want. You can manage those leads separately. Generally, though, we do recommend you do have one specific account per client, just because in the leads database, there's going to be a mixture of all the leads from all your different clients, right? So that's a caveat, is something that's there. If you are an agency that wants to keep your leads separate, and this is generally best practice for us, we recommend getting in touch with us, probably buying multiple codes, and then we'll create an agency login for you where you can come in, you can log in with your one email, and you'll have access to your separate client accounts. That's generally how the majority of agencies that aren't running super lean, that want to keep their clients separate, would operate. But I guess getting back to the question, one custom subdomain, CNAME, and you can use the embed option.
Thank you. This is the same question. Can you show how to do gradient?
Let's see, gradient. Let me see if I can pull this up here. I saw some other questions as well in terms of the upgrading the codes. As well as I'm waiting for this here. In terms of upgrading codes, we're we have a system where basically we're upgrading. If you have 3 codes, you submit it, it's going to be upgraded within 3 to 4 hours, Monday to Friday. So most, obviously, throughout the week, we're going to be upgrading them. So if you are saying that you have 3 codes, you've submitted it, you're not able to use email automation, please be patient. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. You will be upgraded shortly, and if you have any questions, you can email the support team. As you guys have probably seen in some of the questions, we have been a little bit backed up, but you know, don't worry, we're willing to get to you guys, obviously, and then we're going to make sure we get everyone set up. And once we get over this little hiccup in terms of onboarding everybody, I think you're all going to be happy with your accounts.
It's been busy for y'all. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's good. In terms of gradient, let me just take a look here. Yasmin, do you have a thing up in terms of the gradient there? So I'll show you what I have here in terms of what I'm looking at. So here is, you know, the landing page builder. By default, if Sayo can add an image, Yasmin, I'm not sure if you checked so, but we can put an image below here, and then we can choose to put like an overlay image here, right? So basically I can choose like what opacity I want to have this. I can also choose if I want to have this image above or under the image, that type of thing, right? In terms of actually adding a gradient, I'm actually not sure if there is an option, but I know that there's this transparency option where you can add like varying degrees of opacity.
Yeah.
You can add depending on, you know, kind of what you want the look to look like.
Awesome. I'm going to move on to the next question. If you guys discover anything else you want to add to that, let us know. So can I look through leads looking for the name of a customer? Like if they don't have their name and their email address, can they search?
Can you look through leads without having an email address or name?
Can you look?
Sorry,
can I look? The question is, can I look through leads looking for the name of a customer?
You could. Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, generally the leads, as you remember when Yasmin showed you guys, it's broken down by email usually. So you basically click on the leads and you'll be able to scroll down and see by email. Let me double check here.
If they put in their information in the form using their name, then you can search them with their name. They would have to put their information in.
Great.
Okay, cool.
Will there be any notification to my client account when there is a lead submitted their email address?
It depends. It depends if your client account is the one that you're logging in with.
Okay.
Yeah. If you whatever email is on the account as the login email, that's the email that's going to be notified when you get new leads, and you can turn that on and off.
Yeah.
If we send out personalized emails to customers, including a link with dynamic text replacement on the landing page based on UTM parameter personalizations like name, industry, etc., is there a real-time notification to let us know who specifically visits the landing page? If not, this would be a great feature for sales to reach out for hot leads at the right moment.
Yes, good question. Yeah, so I don't think we have that at the moment, but that's definitely a good one that we could add in the roadmap moving forward.
Cool. Is there a way to import submissions on existing forms not hosted on Wishpond? Is there a way to add contact details to leads? 2 questions.
So the last one, is there a way to add contact details to leads? Yeah, so you can click on a lead, their email, and open up their lead profile, and you can manually add information if you knew something like, okay, I knew all these people came from Vancouver, or they're all interested in baking. Sorry, what was the first question though?
Import submissions on existing forms not hosted on Wishpond. Is there a way to?
Can you import submissions from outside of Wishpond?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So basically you would, like, I mean, you'd basically just be importing a list of leads, right? So basically I would have a CSV, you click import. I think Yasmin went through that. We would basically map the properties. Kevin equals name, Kevin at Wishpond is email, right? And basically pop that over.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Wow, there's so many. Okay. I'm sorry. I want to ask, can you change how do they change an email from draft to live?
So on the side of the email, you'll see a settings little menu or 3 little dots. When you click on that, you can just press live.
Great. On a landing page, how do I deliver my digital giveaway, ideally in the double opt-in way so that people confirm their email and after that can access the PDF file?
Yeah, good question. So I actually shared a link. It's a step-by-step guide. I shared it in the chat. You can take a look. It's a usable YouTube video that shows that. How to add a double opt-in. Basically, you need to add a button that basically says that they agree to subscribe, and then you'll have to automate a post follow-up email that says, hey, click this link to confirm. And then basically we would have a workflow that says if they click that link, then count them as subscribed.
Awesome.
Yeah. And in terms of giveaways, you can just use any of those templates. We have tons of templates for giveaways.
All right, regarding email, can you send from multiple email addresses? What are the setting SMTP or on the DNS side?
So you can send from different email addresses. You'll have to verify each address. So for instance, Yasmin at Wishpond or Chris at AppSumo, you'd have to basically verify that you own that account and click a little button to verify that, but you can add as many as you want in terms of sending.
Great. This person wants to know, what does white labeling entail?
Yeah, good question. So white labeling, and maybe there was some miscommunication about that, is not necessarily inside of Wishpond. It's going to look like not Wishpond. White labeling, at least in terms of our definition of it, is that at the bottom, if you buy 1 to 2 codes, there's going to be a small little Powered by Wishpond icon at the bottom of emails, pop-ups, and landing pages.
Totally.
White labeling basically would entail that that doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Or you have the option to toggle it off at least.
Makes sense to me. All right. We're going through these. This is great. With the cart, does it rely on having something like Shopify, or is this all available within Wishpond as a standalone?
That would require Shopify integration.
You can either integrate it with Shopify, or you can add also a PayPal button.
Awesome. How does the abandoned cart with WooCommerce work?
Unfortunately, we don't have a native setup with WooCommerce for cart abandonment at the moment.
That's what I thought. Are there tutorials? Where are the tutorials for people to just get this information, just in general?
Yeah, good question. So we have Wishpond's support. Chris, basically, we use a system that you can basically, their knowledge base. And we can send a link to that right after this. We also have Wishpond Academy. It's academy.wishpond.com, and has tons of training videos about a lot of what we were talking about, or kind of more in-depth strategies about how we use a platform.
That's amazing. And if people, we probably won't be able to get through every single question today, but if people have questions, that's a great resource for them. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's, I'm gonna go down to the bottom and see some of these recent ones. In a giveaway, can I add conditions that users must like a Facebook page?
Yeah, good question. You actually can. I mean, that's not a restriction on our side. It's a restriction on Facebook's side to say that you have to actually make someone do something. Mm-hmm. In the past, we've had that as an option, but Facebook doesn't like when you force anyone to do anything. Generally, what we can say now is that in a giveaway, we can say, hey, you get 1 entry for entering, and then what we'll say is get 2 entries for visiting our Facebook page. Right, so driving traffic to the page. We can't guarantee they're gonna like the page, but if you have good content on there and whatever, then that's probably the best case scenario. We can award based off Instagram follows, Pinterest follows, and YouTube subscribes.
Great, good to know. Can we use Wishpond to create bump offers, upsells, and downsells?
Yes, you could. Basically, you would set like an automation workflow that says, like, if somebody clicks on a link, like in, say you sent a Shopify purchase button and they clicked on that link, then trigger another workflow that sends another offer, right? Or conversely, if they didn't, then you could send something else. Cool.
I see there is a JavaScript option for button on click. Can we use this JavaScript to post the form details to our autoresponder?
You should be able to, yeah.
All right. This is great. How many internal users per account are allowed? 1, 2, unlimited, etc.
It's unlimited in terms of like Wishpond, like logins to your Wishpond account. I believe it's unlimited. It is unlimited. I'm not sure if every tier of the AppSumo promotion has that, but I know it is unlimited, I believe, for the 3rd tier.
Cool. Do you have plans of incorporating wave-like shape dividers in the new editor?
Wave-like shape dividers.
Oh yeah.
I have not heard anything about that, but
Things
I
to
think I'd have
think
to see it.
about.
I'd have to think about it. I have to see it first. As I see it, I think we can bring it up to our product team and get them excited about it.
Love it. All right. Can tagging/segmentation be accessed in separate campaigns? Can I start a new campaign for people who haven't responded to the previous campaign, but did respond to campaign number 2?
Yes, you can. Yeah, I mean, that would basically be similar to the upsell and downsell sequence, where basically we would say, like, if you've engaged with this campaign in a workflow. I think the one thing, take a look at the workflow builder that we have, the conditions and the actions. That's really where a lot of the power of Wishpond is. So you can say, if anyone clicked the link in this email, if someone viewed this campaign, if they converted, if they are from a certain city, if they're part of a certain list, then trigger those actions. A lot of the questions that I think you guys might have about the automation element of Wishpond would be, if you take a look at what's possible, and if this is triggered, take this action, a lot of that will be kind of answered in there.
Awesome.
Similar to the automation example I gave during the walkthrough, when you saw that I put, have converted on campaign X, you can also put have not converted. So you can do different conditions based on a campaign.
Good to know. Thank you. I don't see the image overlay option in the editor. Is it there or is it coming?
The image overlay, so it would be on the left side. When you go into your platform, it'll be like a little button on the, let me see if I have this here. It's on the left side, so it's not from the content section. It should be on the left side. It should say like background.
Cool.
That's where that would be. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is it possible to change? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, one second. Let me just quickly show you, just so that no one's confused.
Yeah.
So you guys can see my screen here. This. Okay, cool. So here is where you're adding all the elements, the add content. For the overlay, that's this little campaign design button, and this is where all like the background and the overlay thing will be. Yeah. So it's just right below the little orange button.
Cool. Thank you. Is it possible to change the subdomain several times?
You can. There's no problem with changing the subdomain. My only, I guess, warning would be if you are running campaigns, say kevin.wishpond.com/offer, and you change it to yasmin.wishpond.com/offer, all your subdomains will change. So if you're driving traffic or you're using those pages, I would warn you probably not to do that. But if you're just testing around and doing whatever, then that's not a big deal.
Yeah. All right. This one has been answered. How much traffic can we send to the landing pages per minute?
As much as you want.
As much as you want. I love that answer.
As much as you want. As much as you can send. Yeah.
Are we getting sales templates, modern templates? What do they have to look forward to?
Yeah, great question. So I think with the introduction of the Shopify integration a couple months back, we're going to be adding more abandonment emails, more upsell templates, all that kind of stuff. I think that's coming down the pipeline in the next, say, 6 months. So that's something you guys can take look forward to seeing.
Yay. Speaking of things to look forward to, can we talk a little bit about maybe future integrations? I know people have thrown out quite a few names, and I don't want to go through all of them by name, but can you tell us anything about those?
Yeah, great question. So we do have, I don't want to, say too much. We are talking to our product team, especially. It's been really good, the feedback from the AppSumo community. Typically, a lot of the integrations we've been asked for in the past, people ask for MailChimp. We integrated with MailChimp, Aweber, so we integrated with Aweber. It's really good hearing feedback from the Sumolings in terms of what integrations they want. So we've taken that feedback. We're going to kind of compile it and see what the most requested integrations are, and then that will be kind of how we're going to decide which integrations to move forward with. So I would encourage you guys, if you have any requests, feel free to email us or leave them in the chat. We are listening, and we're going to compile them and see if we have like a ton for one specific app, then that will be kind of helping us in the direction that we're going to go.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying all of that. Do you have any plans to share code features for campaigns?
Not sure I understand the question.
That's all I got. Any plans
Okay.
to add share code features for campaigns? I'm just gonna, cool.
Share code features for campaigns. No, sorry.
That was your question. If you want to clarify that, you're more than welcome to send it back again and we'll see what we could do for you. Can I make yes or no polls and get leads? Would it be possible?
You can. Yeah. So, I mean, you could create a form and you could say, you know, do you like breakfast? Yes. Email Kevin. You could do that. That would be option. Yeah.
Cool. I do, if there is somebody named Frank watching this, we're not purposefully avoiding your question. I'm just not sure what you asked. So if you want to send that through again, please feel free to do that. Is it possible to add pop-ups on a landing page?
Yes, you can. Yeah. And actually, right when you publish the campaign, your landing page, on the left side, you'll see there's like an option that says set up email, like it's autoresponder email, or add pop-up to the page. So you can click on that on the dashboard and it'll add right away. Or you can just create any pop-ups and you basically, on the publishing options of the pop-up, you have the option to add it to like an HTML page, add it to a contest, or you can add it to a specific campaign. You just choose the landing page you want to add it to.
You can also add it through the CTA. If you saw during the webinar, when I clicked on the CTA and people put in their information and then the next action after submitting the form, you can, instead of sending them to a website, you can send them to a different campaign, which would be your pop-up.
Awesome. Thank you. Also about landing pages, does dynamic text replacement work on embedded landing pages?
Yes. I mean, embedded landing pages and non-embedding landing pages function exactly the same.
Awesome. Can you show us again how to preview how a design, or I'm not sure if you did show us actually. Can we preview to see how a design will look on different screen sizes?
Sure. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, so I'm taking a look at this page. If I want to see, this is the desktop view. On the top left, I can scroll down here. I can see what it would look on tablet, and I can check out how it would look on mobile.
Awesome. Perfect. Does the email editor allow us to add CSS, and could we use CSS in the email to change font sizes?
You could. I mean, you could use like, just throw it in like if it's an HTML email template and you had kind of like internal CSS, you could add it in there. I don't think there's an option to like a CSS panel per se, but if you had some style guides internally, that would work.
Awesome, awesome. Any plan to make sales funnels down the line?
Yeah, so actually our Chief Product Officer is a huge proponent of that, and that's something that we've been talking about for a long time in terms of being able to see the full funnel and being able to, you know, because right now we have a lot of different campaigns, but kind of mentally you kind of have to map out in terms of, okay, this is where that is in the funnel. So we do have, I wouldn't say concrete plans, but definitely aspirations, and we're thinking about doing something where we actually would consolidate it and have the funnel, we'd show the conversion rate between different steps. That's something that our product team is talking to our dev team about at the moment.
I just want to remind everybody to please ask their questions in the Q&A box. Yeah, it's the easiest way to make sure that we're getting every single one of them. There's no way for me to like go through everything in the chat room, unfortunately, to make sure that we're actually answering it. So I do encourage everybody, if you have questions, we want to answer them, but we would like you to ask them in the Q&A box. Yay, everybody's doing it, great. All right, so I want to circle back to a question that you answered earlier, but I'm hoping that maybe you can show us how to do it. So if you want to search for, okay, if somebody wants to search through their leads for a name or a company or anything besides email, I know that they have to have entered that information when the lead is collected. Can you show us how to search for those things if that has taken place?
Sure, I can do that with you. Look, let me share my screen.
Thank you.
So when you're in the leads dashboard, right over here, you can search over here. You know, you can say test. Since I don't have any other leads, it's going to come up with here, and this is where you would choose the profile or the lead. When you go to profile, this is, you know, the name that they've given. It'll take the city. And if you want to edit, I remember there was a question for that. You would just go into this section right here, edit, and you can go in and add whatever first name, last name, gender, whatever you want to edit.
Thank you. Thank you. This one's done. You guys everybody has been so great. Thank you all. We have gotten, I know that we've already talked about agencies. I just want to ask one quick question from somebody just now. Do they need more than one code for multiple clients?
Yeah, so typically if you were, I mean, you could do one code, which would give you the one code account. That could be one entire account. Or you could, if you wanted to stack and get access to the email automation and you know, more leads, you could do 3 codes. You could do 3 codes per account. Each one of those accounts you could add under one umbrella agency.
Awesome. I don't want to bring up agencies again because I feel like it's something that we've answered a lot. So if you all do have questions about the agencies, you will be able to rewatch this if you're tuning in late. I know a lot of people are, and they're probably excited about this question. It has been answered earlier in the webinar, and you will be able to watch this live or again on YouTube, I promise. Can we another one? Does pre-fill form via URL work in embedded landing pages?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Awesome. Can I import a CSV of valid individual codes that I generate in my WooCommerce store and then let Wishpond use them one at a time?
For coupon codes?
Yeah.
Good question. So we have, I would say no. We do have a coupon campaign where basically people could say, we have an option where you could upload a CSV of, I guess it depends on the context, but we have one coupon campaign. We could upload a custom list of codes. And then when people convert on the form, they get those codes. I'm not sure if that's the exact use case of that question though. Cool.
Thank you though. If you have a follow-up question about that, Paul, you can talk to Kevin personally, I promise. Could multiple signups be put on one form to segment, like sign up here to get A, sign up here to get B, sign up here to get C?
Yeah, you could do like a drop-down field, right? Or like a checkbox, so depending on what you want. And then you could have an automation saying if they converted on this offer page and they selected they like skiing, send them skiing package. If they like snowboarding, send them snowboarding package.
Awesome. Are upgrades to Wishpond included in the deal?
Yes, they are. So everyone who purchased the AppSumo deal so far, it was released with the old editor or our current editor, and everyone's going to be getting access to the new Canvas editor in about 2 weeks. And then moving forward, every platform upgrade that we do, they'll be included as well.
Wonderful. A couple other questions about the deal itself. What if we outgrow the 50,000 leads? What is the cost, or do we need to delete older leads? Also, can we stack more than 3 codes?
No, good question. So no, it's capped at 3 codes max. If you guys need to send more emails, we have special pricing, which you can get in touch with us in terms of figuring that out. But unfortunately, it's maxed at 3 codes, and that's kind of where we're limiting it, just based off the volume and also, in our opinion, because a lot of the value that we're sharing with that. Wonderful,
thank you. A user was told 500,000 emails per month. Can you clarify how many emails are given per month?
Yeah, great question. So I think that was maybe a miscommunication or misunderstanding on both parties. It's listed in the AppSumo promotion page. It's 50,000 emails sent per month. That's been consistent with what we've agreed with AppSumo and what we've set up from day one. So it's 50,000 emails, to clarify for anyone, if anyone has any questions about that.
Awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. There's everybody has been very wonderful. Thank you all for asking so many questions and being so engaged. When I collect an email in ManyChat, can I use Zapier to send that email to my Wishpond email?
Let's see. So when you collect an email in ManyChat, so you get a lead, I'm gonna use Zapier to send that email to my Wishpond email. Yes. I mean, you can say, so basically if you collected an email in ManyChat, you could use Zapier to send it to your Wishpond account. Like you can add it to a list, you can have it in your Wishpond database. I'm not sure what it means by a Wishpond email though. Like,
okay, that's,
yeah.
All right. Missed the session. Can you send a recording? Yes. Again, all of this will all be available for you on YouTube. I promise. You'll be able to watch this honestly every day for the rest of your lives if you want to. So yeah, I promise that's doable. Yeah. All right, there are some questions from the beginning I want to just circle back to. If you're experiencing your emails are landing up in Gmail spam, cPanel works fine. There is no spam. What do you recommend we use for email so that it doesn't end up in spam?
Good question. So I would say, I guess there's a couple of things. Wishpond, when we onboard new merchants, there's a couple of things. We obviously want to make sure that people bring in clean lists and that they're doing, email marketing that's, not spammy. So what I would encourage you to do is just make sure that the list that you're sending to has explicitly opted in. And then also make sure that the domain that you're sending from has a good sender reputation. From there, if those two things are in check, you shouldn't have any problems with deliverability. And generally what happens if you can actually send emails, you start sending newsletters and you get a normal amount of engagement and not getting a huge amount of unsubscribes or bounces, we'll actually start to bump you up through tiers of our email sending so that you actually get higher and higher, even higher deliverability. But what I'm trying to say is that I guess making sure that you have a list that's explicitly opted in and that your email domain is, I guess, legitimate in terms of not doing kind of things that are a little bit shady, and you shouldn't have any problems with email sending, at least on our platform.
Great, thank you. Answer live, done, and thank you. All right, so if we send potential leads from PPC or social ads, will it show that the lead came from that source, or are there any plans to add that feature?
Good question. So I think it's similar to the UTM one. So if you add a UTM, it'll automatically be added into the lead profile. So you basically just say like, hey, Facebook ad, and then that should be added as a lead property within Wishpond. And then you could create a list of everyone who has campaign source Facebook ad, and you could sort them that way. Or you would see individually per lead where they came from.
Awesome. Will you? All right, there are a bunch of questions still in the chat. I'm going to answer some of them, but again, if you have questions in the chat room that you really want answered, please move those questions over to the Q&A because there's a system that I can actually organize them. I can close them so that I know how many questions we are actually getting to. But I'm going to start at the bottom of the chat, so the most recent questions. And then, yeah, if you want to ask those again in the Q&A, go for it. In order to create a social media sign-up boost link with my subdomain, do I need to develop a custom app that Facebook needs to approve later on?
I don't think I fully get that question.
It's the most recent one in the Zoom webinar chat.
Zoom webinar chat, not the Q&A, right?
Not the Q&A.
Okay. In order to create a social media sign up boost link with my subdomain, social media sign up boost link with my subdomain. Sorry, Danny, I'm not completely sure what a social media sign up boost link is. Yasmin, you know?
No, I'm not really sure what that
Social
means.
media sign up boost link. Is that, I guess you want to create a campaign on social media?
Oh, Boost is a different product. It's in the store right now. I understand now.
I see. I see.
I didn't get that either. I got you.
Okay. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so it seems like we're getting a lot of just like very specific use case questions, which are wonderful. But we've been here for a little over an hour now, and I'd like to close up. So where can our guests reach you if they have other questions that they'd like answered?
Yeah, great question. So if you come on the website, we have a live chat that pops up. You can ask any of your questions there. You leave your email, and then we'll get back to you. Or you can email us at support@wishpond.com. We also have Wishpond Academy. Type into Google Wishpond Academy. I think it's learn.wishpond.com. And we also have our support knowledge base, which has a ton of articles in there as well.
Awesome. All right. I'm gonna come on the screen again. I'm gonna close us out. Thank you everybody for participating today. This webinar has been great, and hopefully you all feel like you've gotten a lot out of it. As you can see, Wishpond is a great tool. We've loved having it in our store for the last couple of weeks. It's one of our most popular deals. So we know that you really need to get your hands on these codes fast. It's a game changer when it comes to creating professional landing pages and campaigns that'll make your business money. So you better get your hands on your codes quick. You can head over to appsumo.com/wishpond, or it's in browse right now. It's starting at just $49 and backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. Feel free to get set up, play around, let us know how it is going for you. Thank you so much, Kevin and Yasmin, for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, have a good one. And again, if you want to watch this again, it'll be available on YouTube soon. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Good. See ya.